So the trade deadline for the Phillies has gone past 4:30 p.m. It's all over, but it's okay. There was no big splash like everyone expected. With the Sixers, it came with LeBron and Kawhi Leonard. We got all excited, and then it passed. And then for the Phillies, got all excited, possibly Manny Machado, and he just happened to just slip through our fingertips. So it wasn't the big acquisition, the big offseason, the big trade deadline that we all expected. But the Phillies still do sit in first place. And be it as it may, they didn't land any big all time stars. They did get nice pieces that could really help get this team to possibly win in the NL crown. Not the NL crown, the NL East crown. So the Phillies acquire Wilson Ramos from the Tampa Bay Rays. He's a catcher. We have Jorge Alfaro and Andrew Knapp, who have struggled all year. This guy's a two-time All-Star. If you remember him, he played for the Washington Nationals for quite some time. Very good defensive catcher. Also has some pop in the middle of the lineup. He is injured though, so that we won't see him for maybe in the next couple of weeks. But I think he'll be the primary backstop for the Phillies, and then they'll switch between him and Alfaro. I believe this means Andrew Knapp is the odd man out. He's going to be optioned more than likely. Usually you don't keep three catchers, three backstops on the roster. So they do get Ramos. Before his injury, he's got a hamstring injury, so he's on the 10-day DL. So it won't be that long before we see him. But before that, his slash line was, 297. And his sluggo was 488, which is phenomenal compared to Jorge's, who was 254 and 389, I believe, was his sluggo. So you look at Alfaro, his progress is okay. You look at his numbers, his power numbers aren't quite what we expect them to be, but defensively he has still struggled. With Jorge behind the plate, he's got more than 39 pass balls. You don't want that back there. He struggles, so does Knapp. He's not really known for his defensive catching skills. He's more of the offensive catcher. But you look at Ramos, who can do both. Like I said, he's two-time All-Star. He hit 14 home runs, 53 RBIs from the catcher position. That's outstanding. So you add a nice little bit of pop there. I do like this move from the Phillies. And it's either to a player to be named for Tampa Bay or just cash considerations. We also add a left-hander in the bullpen from from the Blue Jays, Aaron Loop, who doesn't have the greatest ERA, but he's a specialist. Doesn't throw anything higher than like average fastball, 92, 93, nothing too sexy. But he's got a nice strikeout to walk ratio. He's got 42 strikeouts on the year and only 35 innings of work. So he's not going to blow you away, but I think, can you do any worse than Adam Morgan? He's complete trash. I think you can do anything to improve there. So these guys are both 30 years old. Ramos, his contract is up at the end of the season. So he's probably not here to stay. I don't know if you try to re-sign him and then use him as a trade chip later on down the road. You know what's good about this is if you do gear up to try to trade and get somebody next year, is we still have all our prospects. So that's a good thing. But these guys will definitely help the Phillies hopefully secure an NL East crown. I do like the Ramos acquisition, like I said before. He adds some nice pop. Guy can drive in runs, and you're not going to be really worried about him getting a let him ball past him, getting wild pitches and pass balls like we've seen with Jorge Alfaro and Andrew Knapp. So, and then the lefty specialist. It does suck because you expected us to possibly land the Manny Machado, or there were rumors that Bryce Harper was on the block, but I didn't know. I didn't think he would really get traded. Were the Phillies interested in acquiring him? Of course, to get it because they need outfield help. I know you want a platoon between possibly Nick Williams when he's going up against the lefty, and platoon between both of them when he's going. He's a streaky hitter, but he's been nice. But no deal got done. If you're looking to acquire a talent like Bryce Harper, though, you're talking like 5-for-1 deal, 5 or 6 prospects to get a talent like him. But he's a free agent next year. So the Phillies could obviously go after him, go after Machado, throw a ton of money at him, at both of them, and we're just going to have to see what happens. So Yeah, it's kind of lackluster. Nothing really sexy happened, but we're still in first place. We have a nice young core. We didn't go after that big superstar that you thought we needed, but even if we did acquire Machado and/or Bryce Harper, which was a pipe dream, they weren't going to lead us all the way to the World Series and win it. I mean, let's get real. We're not pieces that we really need to shore up and build off this team. We still need some nice bench pieces, so on and so forth. But what do you guys like what do you think of the deal? Anybody like it? I knew there saw a couple questions. I wasn't able to answer them, but I'll answer them now. I'm kind of done what I needed to say. There was also rumors that Chris Archer was out there. I was hoping we were, and Tony was as well. Tony Del Grasso. We've talked about that in previous shows of possibly acquiring Chris Archer. He goes to Pittsburgh in a deal, which I was really surprised. Tampa Bay is just unloading all what little talent they have on there. They're a rebuilding team, loading up on prospects. So there, Pittsburgh is able to, or I meant Tampa Bay, but Pittsburgh is able to land Chris Archer. He would have been a nice starting pitcher, I think, to go with our 1-2 punch with Arrieta, Aaron Nola, help the young guys out with Vince Velasquez. But Sean, if you're out there, did you like this? Did you like this deal? I know the one cat said he was not happy at all. He was very confused on what the Phillies were doing. But if we do get this Aaron Loop cat in here, he is able to get batters out with his stuff. Like I said, it's nothing special, nothing sexy. He throws average 92-mile-an-hour fastball, but it's got some movement on it. And anybody's better than Adam Morgan. God, that dude's brutal. He's definitely one of our weakest bullpen, and he's only on this team because we have so few lefties. So I don't know if you'd send Davis down there. You option Davis with the acquisition of Loop, but nothing too sexy. Just very lackluster for the Phillies. You get some nice pieces. I like the Ramos trade, but up in the air about Loop. Hunter is a joke. I like the moves today. I would have taken Andrew McCutchen. They kind of got their thing out there with the Giants with McCutch and, Longoria and them making their push. But, that's all right. I didn't really expect us to do anything crazy. I was hoping we would get Machado, though, to at least make a move. I thought that was our best chance to get him in here, get him acclimated with the culture, with McPhail and Clentak, drafting him down there in Baltimore, kind of know him a lot better. They have that relationship. He plays here. He gets to see the culture that we do bring, a championship culture, great fans, and you have a good chance to resign him. He plays here for 2 months. You make a run to possibly go somewhere in the playoffs. Or, you never know with baseball. It's funny. Anything can really happen. But now that he went to L.A., it's a little different now in the offseason. Does Knapp go to the... Yeah, I think, sports fan, I think Knapp is the odd man out. He's going to get optioned because you don't keep 3 catchers on your active roster. So he's going to be the odd man out, and he'll be going down. He's come up with some timely hits this year, but it's just struggle behind the plate. There's nothing available now that can make us legit contenders. This team is what it is. Yeah, and again, nobody really expected the Phillies to be in first place at this point in the season. I thought they'd win like 85 games this year and be in contention for, one of the wild cards. But to be able to lead in the division right now is something special. You've seen what happened to the Nationals. They've imploded completely, but they kept Harper, probably hopes that they can really make a run at the end of the season because this is the crucial point in the year of baseball. You got August and September. We've all seen some funky stuff happen throughout the years, so anything can happen. This is where Gabe's really got to lock it down in every decision, as Bro Love with Nappy. Every decision is so crucial in what we do now. Every relief pitcher that you bring in, every run, let's try to get some steals because this is really what's going to make or break the year. To make that push to see if we take the crown for the NL East and, get a playoff spot. Because it's been a long time, guys. We're still going off of that '08 championship. And I want to get back to Phillies baseball, playing in October. That was so great times, Nothing really, can really bring back those memories of all those good runs that the Phillies had. And to bring a championship back and to have that that flavor and all that magic that happened when the Eagles won it, and then the way the Sixers fed off of that, and now that the Phillies are feeding off of it, just want to keep that going. So you look at these moves, it's kind of like what the Sixers did. Nothing too sexy. They brought in Ilyasova and a Bellinelli, but they were crucial pieces to what the Sixers did this season. So this is probably what the Ramos and the Loop acquisitions are going to be for the Phillies. It's not what we all expected, but again, baseball, funny things can happen. But I'm excited that we do get some more pop with Wilson Ramos. Again, I wasn't happy about the trade with Asdrubal Cabrera. You really trade in Kingery's defense for Asdrubal's offense. We'll see. He is able to work a count. He's a veteran presence, but he can't play a lick of defense anymore. He's pretty much stiff in the hips and shot and old. So that's why he moved to second base, where you don't have to be that great at defense. Shortstop, you got to be pretty impeccable. It's a pretty important position to be able to play defense. So hopefully he can come in here and jack some homers and really get this offense started, because it's a very streaky offense. Loop is a lefty version of Nishak's situation. Yeah, I don't think he's a decent acquisition. We didn't give up anything to get him. We gave up a mid-level 24-year-old prospect pitcher. Between AAA and AA, he was close to a 5 ERA. Like, I think 36 walks and 75 strikeouts, I believe. So, Wizapok is his name, between Reading and so we really didn't give up nothing for these two or a mid-level prospect for these two guys, and they're just pieces that probably aren't going to be here for the long run, just for this little run that we're making right now. But the Phillies, this just tells me or shows me that the Phillies are gearing up, saving their prospects to really go hard after somebody next year. That's what this really displays to me. So, how many runs do we score tonight? I'll say one. I mean, dude, the Red Sox are freaking unbelievable. I wasn't able to watch last night's game. I taped it, so I'm still waiting to see that. But I heard uh, it was a crazy game. Everything I heard off of it. So, and I heard Abdubal did something boneheaded, so I'm assuming that we lost. So waiting to see what happens there. But we've seen this offense really go off and then it go in slumps. But you go after Ramos and Drubal, it's veteran leadership and some pop in the middle lineup to really help these young guys out, because we get into some skids. We just get some cold bats. It's not one or two guys, it's the entire team. Reese Hoskins is swinging a really hot stick. Dubal Herrera, that's funny, Sean. So, hopefully they can go off of that. They can build off of that when Ramos gets back here within the beginning of August. And we'll see what Luke can do, because Morgan is on paternity leave. He just had a baby. Let's hopefully he just keeps having babies and stays out there. We just get rid of him. He's been a failed project. He wasn't good as a starting pitcher. He's not good as a reliever, as a specialist. He's awful. And again, the only reason he's on this team is because we just have their lack thereof no left-handed pitching. You got Austin Davis up here as a young cat, but now you bring in a Loop. Maybe gives him some competition, lights a fire up under his ass, but I feel like Gabe will be the go-to for Loop, because Adam Morgan's situation of pitching, it's bad. We saw it with the Red Series, how awful he was. Trevor Plouffe gone, yes, right. Our bench just needs to get better, too. So you're going to platoon between Ramos and Alfaro will be coming off the bench. So it'll be interesting to see what they do at Nat, but I'm almost positive that they're not going to keep him. He will be optioned to AAA. But you got Valentin. Plouffe was whatever. He wasn't that great a pitch. We have a really weak bench that really needs to improve. We didn't do anything at the trade deadline other than just get these two guys that will be here for this little bit of run. All right, there it is. Phillies, a little lackluster at the trade deadline. All right, guys. KG on BB, I'm out. What do you think of these moves? Do you think this really puts us over to the top? Do we really make a run in the World Series? Or do you think we missed the playoffs altogether? Were you upset with what Klentak did, how unaggressive he was, or do you feel like they should have been more aggressive and do whatever it takes to get the players that you need, a la the New York Yankees, the Boston Red Sox, these great organizations that have the stones to really pull the trigger when need be to really make a run at the right time. That's what's so great about Brian Cashman and all their offices. Their GMs are phenomenal. They know when to do it. I hope so, Scott. It's going to come down between us and the Braves, obviously. The Nationals are out of it. I'm surprised they didn't try to trade off all their pieces. Bryce Harper, because Harper's going to leave next year. I don't see him. They must really feel strongly that they're going to be able to re-sign him, but I think he walks. You try to trade. You got Juan Soto down there, who's a beast, a nice young kid. Yeah, you can build around. So you let Harper go. You try to trade Scherzer for whatever you can get for him. Strasburg. I would just, if I was the Nats, it's time to just reshuffle the deck and get everybody back in there. But yeah, Harper is a clubhouse cancer. Well, I think the Phillies are going to make a run at him for sure. What do you think about Machado? We will try him at the end of the season. Yeah, I really thought they had a good chance of getting him this offseason, but not, I mean, during the trade deadline and non-waiver trade deadline. But we didn't. We didn't have the Stones to really pull the trigger. I don't know if they were asking too much or they were just hell bent on getting Sixto Sanchez, and the Phillies weren't willing to put him in a trade. I thought that was their best chance to land Machado and re-signing him here. I think we have a lesser chance of doing that now that he got traded to LA because every team market's open. Because you got him here in the clubhouse, he's got the relationship with Clentek and with Andy McPhail because they drafted him in Baltimore, so you have the connection there. He would have that culture of playing here, the winning organization. He had a little bit down there in Baltimore, but it's been a few rough years. But you get the feel for it. You just have a better chance that you have that 2 month start on try to build your pitch to sign him. But now I just feel like he's out there in LA. He's not going to stay in LA because they got Seager, they got Corey Seager out there. But you got the Yankees always knocking at the door. You know, teams like the Red Sox or so on and so forth. He said he wants to go to New York. I feel like they're a very strong candidate. They want to get him. They have Didi Gregorius, but they're willing to move him to second, to have Machado be happy and play at shortstop finally. I don't think he does, Sean. Who do we give up for Ramos? It's a player to be named or cash considerations, so we don't know yet. The player hasn't been decided, so nothing yet. He is injured, so we won't see him for at least 10. He's on the 10-day DL, so mid-August we'll probably see him. Early August. He's got a tightness in his hamstring. He's got some real nice offensive numbers, and he's a really good defensive catcher. I don't know if you remember seeing him, but he used to play for the Nationals. He was a Philly killer. Every time we played him, he'd always get extra base hits or home runs off of us. He would murder us. So to be able to get 2 Philly killers on here, hopefully they can follow that trend and do that when they're on the Phillies instead of against the Phillies. Who do you think Braves acquire? I saw they acquired somebody. I can't remember who it was, though. Darren, I don't like the Asdrubal acquisition. I was pissed about that. I don't think he was worth giving up a top 10 prospect for in our organization. You know, you got to. That's Kevin Guzman. I didn't think that was enough to really put him over the top to leapfrog us, Sean. But to get Asdrubal in here, he's got some. Like I said, he was a Philly killer. He's played well against us over the past few seasons. You know, he's, 277, 18 home runs. I forget how many RBIs he has, but it just, like, what kills me is they're going to have him play at shortstop where he's a liability at defense. He's a second baseman. He just doesn't have the athleticism that he used to 10 years ago. So you have a guy, you're trading Scott Kingery's defense or offense, but I feel like shortstop's the most important position where you have to play defense because it's the focal point on the infield. You can put anybody over at second base. You don't have to have great defense. The same with first base. But shortstop is crucial. So for us to be able to get him there and give up a top 10 in Franklin Kilome, not a fan of it. Nope. Maybe he proves me wrong and he jump starts this offense when we get cold, but I just don't see it happening. He works counts, so it fits into what the Phillies do. Yeah, they could. I mean, the Yankees are they're a great organization, and over the years, you know, they used to buy all their talent because there's no cap space, but they did it through trades over this past few seasons, so I got to give them credit. what they did with Andrew Miller and Aroldis Chapman, those trades. They brought in a lot of prospects. When they traded Carlos Beltran to Texas, they got a top 4 overall pick, and then they just turned him in to more acquisitions to get players. It's just unbelievable what they're able to do. Brian Cashman's done a phenomenal job. I think he's one of the top GMs to go along with Dombrowski out there. Who's your favorite player on the Phillies? Nick Williams, hands down. My favorite Phil. Him and Alfaro, it's tied. Yeah, top 10 spot is a big price to pay. Great fit. Could you send that again, dude? It cut off. I look at Tampa Bay did today. Yeah, Tampa's a good organization. Oh, are you asking all time who my favorite Philly is? Chase Utley. I thought you meant on the current team. Yeah, Chase Utley's my favorite Philly of all time. No doubt about it. He's the man. Literally. That play that he did in the World Series where he faked it second and threw it to home, I'll never forget that. Unbelievable. Just the way he plays the game, just huge, huge fan. Love me some Chase. Essentially, just said Cabrera and Ramos will help going to the... Yeah, that's what this is. It's just, couple pieces to really help you bridge the gap for your young players to get a little bit more development, a little more time in the big leagues before they can just really take over and get some time back, because they were thrown into the fire this year. They did okay at times, but Alfaro still needs a lot of work behind the plate. As we've seen, he's got close to 40 pass balls this year, so he really needs to know how to not cross himself up, learn the pitching staff a lot better. He's more known for being an offensive catcher. He's got a gun behind the plate, though, so if you just give him some time, I think he'll be the everyday backstop for the next 10 years. You just give him a little bit more time. So you bring in Ramos, takes a little pressure off of him, plus he can learn from him, so it's good. I mean, he didn't have anybody to learn from when he got here. I mean, Cameron Rupp, ugh, please. So you get a guy like Ramos, and it helps his development for sure. Yeah, Knapp's getting optioned. Darren, we might not make the playoffs. Come on, Sean, don't be a negative Nancy there. Look at the glass half full, not empty, homie. We're gonna make the playoffs. We'll be fine. Look at that tough stretch we went through where we thought we were going to get decimated. We came out on top. We've been playing great ball. Now it's up to Gabe Kapler to really show us. I know you hate the analytics and sabermetrics and all and hate Gabe Kapler, Sean, but this is where he's going to have to shine. That's where I had them, Scott. I had them being a wild card team, fighting for a wild card spot, maybe like 84 or 85 wins this season. But, we'll have to see what they do with these new acquisitions, see if they really aid this team in going any further, and see if we can bring another NL crown. It's been a very long time since we've had one, since we had those 5 straight. I want to get back to that type of winning, that type of Phillies baseball, because those were some unbelievable years. So much fun to watch. I just hope we can get back to that. I like the way the Phillies play, how they work the counts and all, but I want to see a lot more extra base hits, some stealing. Because home runs are all great and all, but when you're just getting solo home runs, it's monotonous. It's a little boring. Crazy how you need to win 80-plus games just to make the wild card. That's why I love baseball so much. It's a complete team sport. Anything can happen. Any team can win it all. It's not a certain favorite that you figure at the beginning of the year, like the Yankees are picked to win it all. It could not be them. They could get knocked out. Remember when the Phillies won 102 games in 2010, we got knocked out in the first round. And a wild card team went all the way and won it back-to-back years, actually, won the whole thing. You hate Kapler, Sean. Don't be flipping the script now. You are a freaking hater. You hate Gabe Kapler. Because he's a Joe Madden. He's a Joe Madden clone. You don't like the sabermetrics? What do you mean? Now you like him? Come on now, bro. But yeah. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Any more comments, concerns, leave them in the comment section. But, yeah, Phillies acquire Wilson Ramos. Nice defensive catcher. Also got some pop in the lineup. 53 RBIs. So imagine you do get some base runners. The guy can drive in some runs, and he won't struggle helping this pitching staff along. He's a little bit more seasoned, 30 years old, so he's been there, done that, and he can help groom Jorge Alfaro. When am I going live next? I'm going to try to do some more Phillies videos because I'm the Phillies and Sixers guy. Adrian does the football, and then we all do some baseball sometimes, us three. But I'm going to try to catch this game. If I don't pass out, I've been up for like 26 hours straight. I haven't slept yet. So I'm hoping I don't pass out and I get to watch this game. Oh, is that what it is, Sean? I got you. You're different, indifferent towards them. All right, play. I see you. I got you. I respect that. But, all right, guys, I'm going to try to catch this game. I'm going to take a couple shots of 5-hour energy, maybe a few caffeine pills, and make this 36 hours straight. Let's get this. All right, KG on BB, I'm out. Leave your comments. Phillies, baby. Going after the NL East crown. All right, peace.